Kenmore, doors will open on the left.
Get into the presser here. Where do you want to start?
I think the fourth outfield, the logjam, is where we should start.
Astounding.
Yeah, so both Cora and Breslow said that they were comfortable with the four outfielders. Cora said he can manage the guys, like it gives him more stuff to play with. But like to me, I wasn't expecting Breslow to be like, yeah, we're gonna clear this logjam because it eliminates all of the leverage that they might have in trying to negotiate any type of deal. But I find it incredibly hard to believe that they're gonna kick this can. Like the wall is here. I think it was like a month or two ago I said that eventually Breslow is going to go to kick this can and he's just going to kick a cement wall like Wile E. Coyote. Yes, yeah. I think we've reached that point, especially with Jarren Duran. Like I think all in all, Jarren Duran put together one of the worst playoffs I've ever seen from a Boston athlete. Like between his
awful.
Like uncompetitive at bats, one of my friends was like, oh, Jarren Duran's going to hit a home run here. I was like, he's probably going to strike out in 3 pitches. Like, that's what's going to happen. And anyway, it wasn't even 3 pitches. It was the play he hit into the dugout that McMahon made that play on.
Oh.
Which I like that. Yeah, I like that nobody went. Nobody except for Greg Weissert, I think it was, went to help him. Fuck that guy. Like, you can fall into the dugout, buddy. Which was a ridiculous catch. But yeah, I think Duran, just like I said, I tweeted it. Aaron Judge, Jarren Duran, handshake emoji, Mr. Low Leverage. Like, that's what it was. The lights were brighter than expected. Any meme that you want to put to it for talking about someone who just completely wet their pants in the playoffs, it applied to Jarren Duran there. Like, and I said it wasn't just Duran. I think the scenic route that Rafaela took, the bunt, they all had their faults in this series. Every single one of them. I think Abreu is the one that you give the most leeway to because of the injury. Like, but to me, like I said, walk with me. Christian Campbell in left field, Roman Anthony in center field, and welcome to Boston, King Tuck.
I like that dramatic
Walk
effect.
with me.
Oh,
Walk
yeah.
with me.
I mean, obviously I'm all over it. Do I think it's going to happen?
No.
Not in the slightest.
No, definitely not. They're not going to give $500 million to Kyle Tucker. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
But to your point, like they've been saying, like, oh, they're going to use the Breslow money. They're going to use the Breslow money, and like obviously they weren't going to sign any of the marquee free agents in the middle of July. Mm-hmm. But like now's the time to do it. Like you want to say we're going to reallocate this money. Like it wasn't just to get off the contract. It wasn't just to get rid of a guy that hurt my feelings. It wasn't just that my computer model said that this deal was bad. It's that we're going to go and we're going to find a guy that we're going to replace this production with, because you need to. Like, if you watch this team down the stretch, especially without Roman Anthony, you know that they need this production. It's something that I harped on a lot, that if your lineup hinges on a 21-year-old rookie to be productive, then your lineup isn't that good to begin with. So, like yes, it would have been a better lineup with Roman Anthony in it, but what is the ceiling of the team with Roman Anthony in it? It's not the World Series.
No, not at all. Like, you need supplements, and we needed supplements, like you said, even before heading into this season, because Roman Anthony was still a question mark, but now, who knows what happens? Like, this offseason has the potential to be catastrophic. It also has the potential to be pretty solid.
This could make or break. Like, they're in the contention window. Like,
right.
Like you said, like, it could be catastrophic, and one thing that was encouraging to me in this end of season presser was that Breslow said, like, we cannot get complacent, which is like, it not that I was expecting him to say, like, yeah, we made the playoffs, like, we're going to run it back. Like, I obviously wasn't expecting him to say that, but the fact that they at least recognize, like, this is a turning point off season for the Boston Red Sox. Like, we can look at this time next year, hopefully we're still playing baseball right now, but if we're sitting here doing this exact same podcast in a year, we're going to be able to point to what happens this offseason as they didn't do enough, or they recognized what they needed to do. The contention window is fully open, and they capitalized on it and said, we're the Boston Red Sox. We have one of the best farm systems in baseball, and we have $300 million that we cleared off our books to now spend. And more. $300 million and more. Because, again, you're the Boston Red Sox. Like, this is the offseason to go out and do it. I think you need to get at least 2 big bats. Like,
yep.
and to me, I want Alonso and Schwarber. I've been pretty vocal about how I don't like Pete Alonso, the player, but there have been plenty of players that I don't like walk through the door that I have swallowed my pride and rooted for. Aroldis
I would
Chapman.
buy his jersey.
Yeah, Aroldis Chapman being chief of them. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many guys. I didn't like Carl Crawford when he was on the Rays, and I came in and I was hyped. I was like 13 or younger. I was like 10.
That one
10-year-old
didn't
Zach.
exactly pan out.
10-year-old Zach was hyped about Carl Crawford. Like, there were plenty of guys that I didn't like that I have rooted for. So to me, you need two guys. And if it's Schwarber and it's Alonso, it's Schwarber and Alonso. If it's any number of guys, I think we're going to get into like all the offseason stuff, but like a pipe dream, Ronald Acuna, does he reach an inflection point with the Braves management the same way that Devers did here? To me, I think that would be stupid of the Braves the same way I think it was stupid of the Red Sox to reach an inflection point with your best player. Like, there are any number of avenues they can take, but no matter how they address it, they have a lot of work to do to build this team into a true World Series contender. And when it could be next year, it could be 5 years down the road, but I think this is going to be an offseason where we circle and say, this was the inflection point.
It has to be, because so many things can go wrong this offseason, but so many things can also go right. Like, if you bring in, if you finally pull off a Joe Ryan trade, if you sign one of the, I don't want to say premier starting pitchers, but they're all decent enough where I think I would be okay as any of them as a number 2 starter. Right. So, and he mentioned that too, that they need some more pitching depth because they kind of exhausted everything. I mean, we said even before Giolito went down, like, if they have another injury, they're screwed. And we ultimately saw that. And even though early wasn't really the problem in Game 3, it's still, who knows what would have happened if Giolito was out there. But all this to say, I'm weirdly confident. I don't know why, but I'm kind of weirdly confident they spend this offseason.
And Breslow's offseasons haven't been the problem.
Right.
Like, they just haven't. Like, you go out, you get the Crochet trade done, you get the Narvaez trade done 6 hours later, or whatever it was. I'm not going to give him credit for Alex Bregman because Alex Cora signed Alex Bregman. Whatever. And, like, after the series ended, I was ready for Breslow's head. And I still am. Like, to me, like, Craig Breslow is entering next season on the hottest of seats. You don't get to make a trade like trading your best player and then not have it be a career-defining move. Theo's career was defined by the Nomar trade. It worked out for him. And now he's widely considered the best executive in the history of the game, reversing both the Red Sox and Cubs curses. These moves, these tenures are defined by these moves. Heim. Nobody is going to look at what Heim did and view it as a success because he's always going to be the guy that traded Mookie Betts.
Right.
Like, these are career-defining moves, and to me, this is where it's put up or shut up time for Craig Breslow. You said that you're going to spend this money. Spend the money. You have a team that is ready to contend. You have a bunch of really great young talent on team-friendly deals, and it's time to supplement that and turn yourself into a World Series contender, because I think if there's one thing that we learned from this Yankees series, it's that they're a lot further away from being true World Series contenders than any of us thought going into this season.
No doubt. What else did you want to touch on from here? There's a lot of takeaways here. Like, me watching it at, I think it was like 11 a.m. It just seemed like they gave the same answer kind of over and over again.
Oh, they did. Yeah. It was the same. It was the same Craig Breslow word salad that you get. But to me, like, I kind of gleaned some information. This one was just funny. Breslow said Massa played some field this year and was good in doing it. I guess we're doing. I guess we're doing this again. Yeah, and to me, it's just it's the same song and dance that we made fun of before. Like, first it was like, oh, he was actually our metrics say that he was better than like what the the public metrics say, or like we don't think he was that bad. And then it was like this guy needs a helmet to be. He needs to be John Olerud in left field. And then it was we actually think he can play left field. And like he was fine. Like, he wasn't noticeably awful in left field in the limited time, but like I don't be like, oh, he was good.
But he had 3 games out there.
Yeah, that was all year. Yeah, that was good. And then there was that play in Chicago where Duran tried to kill him, but I blame Duran for that.
I remember that.
They mentioned that they need more production out of number 2 starter, a first baseman, and a second baseman. I think that's all pretty abundantly clear watching the team, especially at first base. They were non-committal about Tristan Casas's role. Again, like I think that's
surprising.
fair. Like you don't know what he's going to give you. Same thing for Christian Campbell. They were non-committal on his role, but they were like Breslow. I think it was pretty interesting. He was like he has the backing of the entire organization, and we know how good he can be. And I saw people being like, oh, well, the only reason he was on the opening day roster is because he was willing to play ball on a contract. I think that was part of it, but I also pushed back on that theory because we heard from Jeff Passan in the Rafael Devers trade fallout was that his computer model told him that their optimal lineup was Campbell at second base, Bregman at third, and Devers DHing. Like I think what it all comes back to is that Craig Breslow's computer said that Rafael Devers wasn't as good as the contract said, and he was just hell-bent on getting rid of that because his precious little computer told him that it was an underwater deal, which like I don't know, dude. Like you're the Boston Red Sox and you're paying $30 million a year for a guy that's going to hit 280 with 30 home runs, 100 plus RBIs, and a OPS in the 8 to 900s. Like that seems like a pretty good deal to me. I don't care if he doesn't play the field. Like
neither do I,
Boston
man.
Red Sox. Number 2 starter, he said like at times Bayo pitched like a number 2, at times Early looked like a number 2. Like we just can't at times Bayo looked like a number 2. I think Brian Bayo is much better suited for the Rick Porcello role.
Yeah, and we can't keep doing this thing where we have a number 2 starter at home. Why do we need to go out and spend?
Maybe this guy can step up. Maybe that guy can step up. I mean, if you point to any number of the great Red Sox teams that have won World Series, they've had 2 absolute horses at the front of their lineup. Most recently, Chris Sale and David Price. And before anybody slanders David Price, he should have won World Series MVP. Like
probably.
Like that's a guy, like I'm a David Price truther. Like all these teams have horses at the front of their rotation. You have one. You not only do you have one horse, you have the pig, you have the Clydesdale, you have the prize winner at the Iowa State Fair. Like you have the greatest pig of them all. And they just need to supplement it, whether that be Joe Ryan, whether that be one of the marquee free agents who I've kind of soured on all of them at this point, especially given the contracts that they're going to get. We'll see, but like to me that comes via trade as well, and then you go out and you make the splash with the bat in free agency, which like again it's only a handful of guys that you can pick from, but those 3 positions I thought were interesting that they singled out. Emphasis on pitching depth, you can never have too much of it. Quinn Priester was a deal that I applauded. I loved the Quinn Priester trade, and I still like it, knowing what I know now. Like I don't does Quinn Priester move the needle in the series? No, he's not a hitter. He's not hitting his way out of a wet paper bag, and I still think that there's regression coming from him. So to get Marcus Phillips, who it sounded like they were going to take with their first rounder, that's how much they liked Marcus Phillips. Now you get Kyson Witherspoon and Marcus Phillips, who I think both have higher ceilings than Quinn Priester, and Yoferi Rodriguez, who's effectively a lottery ticket. Like I'd make that Priester deal 10 times out of 10, even knowing what I know now. I think Connolly Early is already better than Quinn Priester.
And I'm not to mention Peyton Tolley, who knows what happens with him, but his upside is, I think, way higher than
the moon. His upside is like Garrett Crochet level upside, I think.
Yeah, you know what's so funny is at the beginning of the year, we were debating between Richard Fitz and Quinn Priester as the number 5 starter. And obviously neither of them. Yeah. So pitching depth. This is one that I have sneakily been wanting to pay attention to. GM search, no timeline, and he mentioned that after losing Paul Taboni to the Nationals, they're gonna kind of take a look at some front office roles and rearrange things. You had mentioned this. I can't remember if we were just yapping or if we were actually recording, but hopefully that doesn't hold up any deals. He said they were gonna assess that in the coming weeks. But something interesting, this came from Red Sox Stats a couple days ago when Paul Taboni was announced as the new head of the Nats. He said he was going to create a scouting and player development monster, and you win with people. That comes from NBC4 Sports in DC. And then another interesting contrast, Katie Wu, who covers the Cardinals. The Cardinals are looking to expand their pro scouting department. According to multiple team sources, Chaim Bloom is looking to add a position to oversee the department, and they will retain all 7 pro scouts.
obviously this comes on the heels of the Red Sox firing a whole bunch of their player development and scouting department. So I just don't. I think it's interesting that you have guys leaving this organization and immediately being like, you win with people. We're going to develop this system. Like, and one of the things we heard about the Dave Dombrowski era was that he completely neglected player development and scouting and that stuff. And they went from the highs of Theo Epstein, of Ben Sherrington, having one of the most advanced player development departments, to Dave Dombrowski, who set them back however many years as everyone else took a step forward. You bring in Heim, you add all these people again, and obviously you see it in the farm system. Like, who do you think discovered Roman Anthony? Who do you think said, oh, we got this kid at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School? Or we have Christian Campbell, a Georgia Tech. He doesn't really have a position. He's got a really funky swing, and we think we can find something in there with him. These guys don't just grow on trees. Like, this type of talent evaluation doesn't just come out of nowhere. Like, Paul Taboni is right. It is built with people. You win with people. Like, you got your best player because a guy that you potentially could have fired. I don't know who the signing scout was on Roman Anthony, but there's a legitimate chance he's no longer employed by the Boston Red Sox because of these cuts. Like, I just don't understand why people are leaving the organization and immediately being like, we're going to expand the player development process, while the Red Sox did an internal audit and it resulted in firing a bunch of people. Like, that was one thing that stood out to me. It did concern me that they said that they were going to reevaluate the roles, though, because I think one thing that we both agreed on in the last, or whenever we initially talked about this GM search, was that they go external for whoever it may be, to avoid that
better,
echo
man.
chamber. Yeah, they have to. So obviously, like, things have to change there. Like, things are going to shake out in the playoff race. Like, you're not going to be able to interview guys until then. But I'm hoping they go external. I'll actually be angry if they don't go external with this hire.
It would be hard to imagine that they won't go external here. Like, how can you not? If you just promote another guy within your or girl in your organization.
And I love Raquel.
Yeah,
Raquel.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
nobody
absolutely.
thinks higher of Raquel. The fact that seeing her in there in the champagne celebration was so funny. Nobody speaks higher of Raquel Ferreira than the Red Sox players and people that like actually know her. But again, like, she's also a part of the echo chamber. There just needs to be an external voice coming in.
I totally agree, and it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds throughout the offseason. I hope it's sooner rather than later. Like, what do you think time frame wise? Because the World Series probably ends like right around Halloween, so
hopefully right around there.
Yeah,
like I think you have to do it before. Like, hopefully you have this hire. Yeah, hopefully you have this hire nailed down before you get into the meat and potatoes of the offseason, like before free agency.
Like, that's my biggest thing is you don't want to start behind. Because if you start behind, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're fucked. Yeah, you're cooked.
And I know baseball off seasons always take the longest to develop. Like, we have signings in December, winter meetings, and then we don't have more until like February. So
I wonder how quickly things are going to move this off season with the impending lockout after next season.
That's a good point.
Because like you're not going to see very many like prove it deals. Like, you probably aren't going to see the Alex Bregman 3-year deal with opt-outs after every year, because guys are going to be looking to like lock themselves into these paychecks before the lockout comes. Yeah. So I think that's going to be an interesting storyline to follow.
And all the more reason to sign a GM ASAP. Yes. If these teams are moving fast, you cannot fall behind.
Right. And especially, like, you need 2 impact bats. To me, the 2 guys are Schwarber and Alonso. But if you don't have, like, to me, like, those 2 deals would have to be, like, bang, bang. Because if you get Alonso, every single team that you were bidding against for him are going to pivot to Schwarber and vice versa. So, like, you need to, like, Pete Alonso, first base, Kyle Schwarber, DH. Like, we were talking about how they never, and this is all operating. I'm going to continue operating under the assumption that they are not stupid enough to let Alex Bregman walk. Which I guess Chris Cotillo said that he doesn't think it's a foregone conclusion, that it's not just like a fait accompli that Bregman will be back. which I thought was interesting. He said it wasn't like sourced or anything. It was just a thought that he had, which is encouraging. But yeah, so I'm operating under the assumption that they're not going to be dumb enough to have traded their best player in favor of Alex Bregman and then have Bregman walk after 1 year. So, I mean, like I said, those will get into the meat and potatoes of the offseason in future episodes. But like, to me, those are the two guys. And that's the type of lineup that's actually formidable in the playoffs. Like Roman Anthony, Pete Alonso, Kyle Schwarber, Alex Bregman, Trevor Story, fill in the rest, blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
Like, that's the type of lineup that you can actually look at and say, this is not a team that we want to run into in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on the off-seasons and the off-season and my most preferred targets, but obviously we can get into those down the line. Did you have anything else on the press conference from today?
No, I don't think so. I mean, like I said, it was typical Breslow word salad.
Yep.
They didn't really say a whole lot.
That's what pissed me off.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they like I said, I wasn't expecting them to be like, Jaron Duran is gone. He's out of here.
How
like-
fun would it have been, though? Like,
Oh, it would have been so fun.
Kyle Hudson, he's already gone.
Fired, yeah.